Welcome back to the Liger Sports Talk. I'm Tyler Liger. I'm going to take command of this one.
All right.
I'm going to go with and talk about the NFL Draft. It's going to be happening tonight. Now, traditionally on Friday, we'd probably start talking a little more about who picked who.
Right.
And what's going on, all the trade ups, the bundling that's going to happen, the trade downs that are going to happen. As far as we know, we're going to basically be a little bit ahead of schedule. We'll make a little bit of speculation. As for the drafts, there's not a really good crop of quarterbacks, but there's a lot of really good offensive linemen. A lot of good defensive people.
A lot of depth at wide receiver too.
Oh yeah, wide receiver. I can go on for like days and say who's really good.
The depth is really good in this draft.
Yeah,
no quarterbacks.
No quarterbacks. Not like last year, but this year it's gonna be mostly everybody else stealing the show. But I do have to speak about quarterbacks though. Even though this draft class isn't really good. You're going to see a lot of teams going to make a lot of reaches for a lot of quarterbacks because they're looking for franchise quarterbacks. I have Philadelphia. They're installing a new system through Chip Kelly. That's going to be pretty huge. Cleveland, because they got rid of Pat Shurmur, who actually went and threw his hat in for Brandon Weeden. I'd still give Brandon Weeden a chance though. And I know you want to give Brandon Weeden a chance.
Brandon Weeden's playing in Cleveland. He has no receivers, barely has an offensive line. The only thing that team has going for him is a defense. And that's much like the AFC North anyways. But Brandon Weeden...
That's a tough division too.
Yeah, that too. He's in a tough division. They're not all Andrew Lucks. They're not all RG3s. I mean, look at Sam Bradford. They thought he was going to be the number one, and he's hurt all the time. So Brandon Weeden needs at least another year.
Yeah, I would give him another year or two. I also have Arizona just because I can't trust Carson Palmer.
No.
I can't trust, who they have behind Carson Palmer either. So let's make it fun. Let's draft a quarterback for the Cardinals. Plus, Larry Fitzgerald really needs a really good quarterback.
Now, off the note, though, Carson Palmer and Larry Fitzgerald work out together a lot.
Oh.
That's something...
And Larry Fitzgerald has a lot of say in that organization. He really does. He's a mover and shaker.
He really pushed for Carson Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted Carson Palmer when Carson Palmer was coming out of Cincinnati. So I definitely think Larry Fitzgerald is... Carson Palmer, he might work out the first year, but you can't expect him to work out all the time. So, what about Oakland? Do you think they'll trade up?
I really don't. Just because there's not very much there for Oakland. They made a play for Matt Flynn, and Matt Flynn, despite very limited starts, being beat out by. Well, who did he get beat out by? Russell Wilson. Yep, nobody's gonna forget that.
Yeah.
So, Matt Flynn's gonna be given a chance in Oakland. Oh, he does have some pieces around him, but I would give Matt Flynn maybe about a year or so. Just so he can test the waters, maybe to see if he's going to be good or not, despite the lack of, maybe a core around him.
Avoid the Kevin Kolb effect.
Yes. Another one would be Buffalo and the New York Jets. I mean, the New York Jets, there's two words to describe that. That's butt fumble.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's everybody. That's all
Sanchez
everybody
just needs to go. Buffalo, they went with Kirkpatrick. He didn't pan out so well. Fitzpatrick, thank you. Where did I come from with that one? As for Buffalo, they brought in Kevin Kolb, which he predicted a Super Bowl appearance for the Bills.
Come on, Kevin.
Come on,
Back
Kevin.
up
Get it together. And then there's Travaris Jackson, which he also got beat out by Russell Wilson too.
He might do all right though. I've always had a little bit of faith in Travaris Jackson. So.
Yeah. I'm just not so huge on him, but Buffalo, I know they're going to be looking, because they brought in Syracuse's head coach, they're going to be looking at the likes of like Ryan Nassib. Ryan Nassib has connections. He does know. He's very accurate. The other ones I really don't have to, bring up, like Matt Barkley.
Everybody knows him.
Yeah, Matt Barkley, I mean, I don't really see him going to these quarterback needs. He may be a project quarterback. I'm going to go on a limb and say he's going in second and third round.
What about Landry Jones?
Landry Jones is all right. Well, I would say besides, driving the ball down the field and letting the belldozer run it in for OU, I really see him as a late draft pick also, just kind of as a what's the word for it? Kind of a project quarterback also.
Okay.
I could see him being, thrown to like the Dolphins because they have so many draft picks, and then you could see maybe the Jaguars maybe working him in also. He's going to be like slow, like kind of like a Kurt Warner. So he's not really going to be looked at as really a high touted pick, but he's going to be solid for whoever he plays for.
So what about the Jacksonville Jaguars? They've had Blaine Gabbert the last 2 years. I thought I saw a step in the right direction with Blaine Gabbert last year.
Yeah.
You got to remember, he didn't have a run game because MJD was down half the year. So do you think Jacksonville goes with another quarterback, or do you think they go ahead and stay with Blaine Gabbert?
I think this is just me too. They may go for another quarterback. I could see them going for, trading down to go get a Geno Smith.
Okay.
Trading down to go grab a few picks. I could see somebody like, not really like New York, but I know San Francisco is looking for Tavon Austin, but I don't think they're going to reach as far as the number 2 spot to get Tavon Austin.
Right.
Tavon Austin, by the way, is a really highly regarded receiver from West Virginia. He's really good.
Receiver for Geno Smith?
Yeah, receiver for Geno Smith. And I think Jacksonville and Geno Smith would be kind of nice. It'd be a change of pace. But I also can see Geno Smith being picked by the Philadelphia Eagles to fit in Chip Kelly's scheme as well. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where I want Geno Smith, but then again, it doesn't always happen that way. I do know that Kansas City wants to look at a offensive lineman.
Yep.
Like Luke Jokel.
Yep.
There we go. And then they were looking at another offensive lineman. The name kind of eludes me at the moment, but
is it Eric Fisher?
Yes, I
Eric
believe
Fisher.
so. So Kansas City's pretty stout on wanting to bulk up their offensive line with really good draft picks, and then working on their defense as well. As for the rest of the NFL draft, you got to look for Manti Te'o. I could see him going to either the Steelers or the Vikings, and then Tyrann Mathieu,
Marcus Lattimore,
Tyler Bray, Tyler Wilson. There's a lot of Tylers.
What's Denver going to do? Are they going to let themselves get scorched again? So that's it for the Lee and Lager Sports Talk for round two. We got one more segment after this with the rest of your sports news. Stay classy, WT.